Mike, so good to see you, man.
Good to see you too, Matt.
I'm so happy that you came here today. And, I was such a huge fan of Soul Coughing and your solo stuff.
Thank you.
And it's been an interesting journey, right?
It's been a long journey, yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about the fact that you were a doorman at the knitting factory in New York City.
Yep.
And that's where you found most of the guys in your first band. Right?
Yeah, it was like a thing where guys were just coming through, playing with different people. There were a few like band leaders. It was mostly jazz, some like sort of experimental music, but mostly jazz. And I picked my bands just out of people that, I asked them to play with me from people that were coming through. And, I did a few different versions until Soul Coughing became Soul Coughing.
Yeah, and then that first single with Down to This was pretty amazing. And by the way, I want to introduce you to a couple that actually named their daughter Ruby Vroom of your first album. Right there?
Hey, what's
there
going on? That's awesome.
What are your names?
Hey,
Kyle
and
and Melinda.
What's going on?
So cool. And of course, who you told me before, Mike, was the actual, who's...
Ruby Vroom was named after Ruby Froome, who is Suzanne Vega's daughter with Mitchell Froome.
No kidding.
That's true.
Was she in The Like? Was that what she did too, or was it another?
Was she what?
In that band The Like with Elvis Costello's drummer's
I think she might
daughter?
have been.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
right. Yes.
Tennessee
God, you know all
Thomas.
this stuff, man.
Yeah,
It's like unbelievable.
Yeah. But I would just say I've loved following your career over this time, and I want to ask about there was a period where you decided to write a book. Can we talk about that?
Sure, of course.
Tell me about the book and tell everybody here.
Oh, it's called The Book of Drugs. It's a memoir. Book of Drugs, like the Book of Love, as if, the dressing drugs as if it were a love song. It was just basically the stories I told over dinner. And I had a friend that was an editor at Da Capo, and he just was like, you should write a book. And, and he hooked me up. And, it wasn't something I initially set out to do just in my life, but, I had the opportunity, so I sat down and banged it out.
Was that a cathartic thing for you? Was it good?
To a certain degree, yeah. It was stories I had just been telling people, just like kind of the funny stories that I had been, sharing with friends and, telling them over coffee and, that kind of stuff. So it was weird putting it in print. It was weird seeing the actual finished 250-page book in my hand.
I remember when you sent it to me as a PDF, right? It was
right.
I just got to say it's cool, but it's about exposing yourself and your life, and I thought that was really, really brilliant. Touring for you in the Soul Coughing days and as a solo artist, what would you say? Which your fans maybe don't know the story that's not in Book of Drugs, but is there a great, can you tell your fans a story of just one of the craziest road stories?
Oh my God. I whenever I get asked this, I'll remember a great one in 2 hours and email you, but under pressure. Yeah, never. Gosh, just really crazy people, a lot of crazy people.
Yeah.
I can't even think of a specific crazy person doing anything specifically crazy, but a lot of crazy people.
Mike, going out solo after Soul Coughing and those great records, how was that like when you made the transition?
It was tough. I left Warner Brothers. I was on my own. I was printing up my own CDs. I had a few years there where I was just, in a car going from city to city. Eventually, kind of my real solo career began when Dave Matthews put out my record on his ATO label.
Yeah.
And I've been making records ever since.
Which I love. What are you on number 7 now, solo? Or
9. 9 solo, 12 if you factor in the Soul Coughing album.
Wow.
9
amazing.
Yep.
I'm thinking about that and just going, wow, it's fantastic.
It's a lot, but I can't stop. I should take a break. I'm kind of overwhelming people with albums at this point, so I should take a break, but I kind of can't.
Hey, you have things to say. When you play it, I can't believe.
Well, so I hope. I hope.
No, you absolutely do, Mike. And I can't believe I met you in this town. What a great lyric that was.
Thank you. Yeah,
Is that autobiographical?
Yeah. I met a woman basically, and in a weird place to meet somebody, and then I totally blew it. I totally like overtexted her, really like kind of classic mistake, kind of John Favreau in Swingers with the ladies answering.
Oh
machine
yeah,
kind of,
yeah.
It was really it was so dumb. I knew I was doing it when I was doing it too. It was bad.
You know what? We've all made those mistakes.
I think we have.
You know what I mean? Absolutely.
I thought I was past them, but apparently not.
So tell me about the new record.
New record's called The Heart Watches While the Brain Burns. It's named after something that Mark Maron randomly said.
On WTF?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've known him for a ton of years, so I wrote him and asked his permission. He had no memory of saying it. I produced it with a guy named Good Goose. Kid much younger than me, you know, sort of Bed-Stuy hip-hop kid. Actually, he's in Queens now, but there's that. I moved to Memphis, Tennessee, about 2 years ago. A lot of it was written in Memphis. Yeah, that's about the size of it. I'm just out on the road trying to get people to hear it. I think it's a good album.
Yeah, I think it is great too. I'm just, once again, I'm so happy that you're here. How's Memphis treating you?
It's great. It's a fabulous town. Cheap, it's very reminiscent of like Austin in the early 90s. Like kind of arty and bizarre and, a little tattered.
Which is great.
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for.
Beale Street, did you go and visit Sun Studios?
Sun, yeah, but the real Memphis is Midtown Memphis, which is far away from Beale Street. It's kind of like the little arty core, it's like little Portland, essentially.
Yeah.
2 square miles of Austin or Athens, Georgia, but you plunk down in the middle of Memphis, Tennessee.
You just mentioned where I was born, Athens.
Oh, cool. Love Athens.
Grew up in Jersey, though. But it's funny because I thought about that in Portland. Mm-hmm. I waited years. I'd been to Seattle 100 times, and then I didn't go to Portland before, until I shot Portlandia.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
The Portlandia is a documentary, man. I mean, it's like I love Portland. I have loved it for a great many years, but they understand.
Exactly. Well, people either love the show or they hate it. You know what I mean? Either they feel that they're directly insulted, or they think they're going along with it the joke.
Yeah, big time. The Portlanders I know, they're like, yeah, all right, that's what it's like. We accept it.
Okay, exactly. Hey, Mike, would you do a couple more songs for us right now?
Sure. I got one soul coughing song and then another one from The Heart Watches While the Brain Burns.
All right, fantastic. Mike Doughty, everybody, please make some noise.